Hello everyone, welcome back to Life in Technicolor. I'm Katie, not Gunner. The channel here where everyone, if you subscribe, you get a free ticket to the airplane that goes to the moon. I don't know when that's happening, and don't look into it, but you should look into it. Anyway, today we're talking about how no one can die at Disney. Our first story today is about a girl named Deborah Stone, and Deborah was 18 at the time of this incident, and she went to Disney World and was riding a ride called America Sings, which was just newly opened up in 1974. The ride had actually only been open for a few days, but Deborah decided to ride it. And how the ride worked is it was much like the Carousel of Progress, to where you were sit in the middle and then the stages revolve around you. So what happened was when Deborah was exiting the ride, she got stuck, and no one saw, but she got stuck between a moving wall and a stationary wall. And it wasn't until around 10:30 that night that people started hearing her screaming, which she'd been screaming for hours. And then later her body was discovered around 11 p.m., but by then it was too late. It still is unknown or not, but some people say that they can still hear Deborah screaming and warning people not to get on the ride, even though it has now been shut down. This next story is about a young boy, and this takes place in 2000 in Toontown in the Roger Rabbit ride. Now, this was before Disney had changed their safety procedures, and a lot of theme parks had, where if you have someone small, they need to sit on the inside of two people or on the inside of a car. Depending on the attraction. But what happened is this young boy went on the ride with his mother, and he was sitting in one of the cars, and he was sit on the outside. He was 3 at the time, so he was still very young and still very small. And what happened is when the car turned very quickly, he fell out of the car and landed on the tracks and got stuck. And that's when the car behind him, which was on a track and couldn't stop, kept moving and actually ran over him and actually drug him for several feet, crushing his bones and limbs and things like that. When they eventually got to him, they rushed him to the hospital, but then later he died due to blood loss and broken bones. This next story is about a man named Paulier Cruz, who in 2004 worked at Disney as a Pluto cast member, which means he was friends with Pluto and often dressed up as the character. During one of the parades, though, he tripped and fell right as the Beauty and the Beast float was coming out of the entrance area, and it ran over him. Unfortunately, none of the guests actually saw this incident happen, and later Disney had to get the float off of him with a forklift. His own friends, who were also cast members, had to help get his body out from under the float. Unfortunately, Disney was never sued for this. They just had to pay for damages to the float and obviously not being safe about what they were doing, but never got actually sued for having someone die from this, which is very unfortunate. I think the most unfortunate fact about any of this is the fact that Disney actually made it a rule after all of these deaths that no one can actually die at Disney. In order to maintain the magic there, if someone were to pass out, get injured, or be like heavily injured to where an ambulance has to come, the cast members are instructed to actually sit the person up until the ambulance comes. If someone's in costume, they have to be sat up until an ambulance comes in order to maintain the magic that they are still alive, which is quite unfortunate and very morbid. Overall, Disney's kind of dumb. I love Disney, I'm a big Disney fan, but I'm not a fan of how the parks are run. I think it's very unsafe, and with certain protocols can just be very unnecessary. This is one of the big rules. If someone gets hurt or any other way at the parks, that is on Disney for being accountable for that, and that they're just not being held for that. People have tried suing. There's been several other incidents that have happened at the park, and just nothing came of it. They of course got sued for money in some of them, but that was about it. I think it's stupid. I definitely think a lot of things happen at Disney that no one knows about. There's been people who have drowned in like Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a lot of new rules that have been invented since then to help prevent things like this, but it's still an issue and can still happen any day. That's all I have for today. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about how no one can die at Disney. And I hope you're not all really sad like I am, because some of those stories were really sad. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you all be nice to each other out there. Please like and subscribe, because remember, if you subscribe, you get a ticket to the moon. Bye!